Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 31st of August. So, last day in the month and, bank holiday in some countries next Monday. So, we might see a little bit less volume going through markets today, although it is a month end. So, that in itself may pump some more in there. So, could be a mixed old day, but let's have a look at where we are at the moment. So the euro dollar, and it's almost a bearish engulfing candle. Didn't quite, the body's not fully wrapped around that previous candle there, but certainly a bearish looking candle. When you come down to the shorter time frames, you can just pinch on see on this 4 hourly that it's put a lower high in. It's confirmed that lower high in at the moment. However, we're sitting around that trend line that was running through from the lows. It's just pulled that up and it's just hand railing that at the moment. It does look like we could, from the price action I'm seeing here, run down towards that 50. It's very iffy looking. I was looking at this a short while ago and just thinking, well, actually, has that done a 1-for-1 move on ABC? Let's just have a look where we are with that. So it's short of the one-to-one movement, and what I was looking at, I should draw on it here for a moment, is this A, B, and looking to see if it done a proper C movement. Well, you see that's almost down to its S1 area. That's if it was to work that out properly. But it's in the shorter term here on the hourly picture, it's put a high low in it. That is a bit sort of rock and roll, or chop and roll as it may be, because it's been chopping through most of the Asian session as ever. Had a bit of a rally up here and now coming back south again, but it may well continue. If it does continue in that south version mode, well, we could have a trade back. It's just a popular trend line on here. There's a trend line running across here. Maybe the point line in the sand effectively in terms of the short side of things. It's already hit the daily pivot. Now, consolidation around this phase, any sort of rally, well, that'll take us back up towards maybe the R1 up to yesterday's highs. We'll see how things happen. There's very little in the way of significant news. We've already had German retail sales out this morning. There's CPI, some inflation data, flashy inflation data. We've seen the German data this week already. It's a bit flattish, but we're only surprised at 10. We could get a bit of a kicker around about 10 o'clock on it. We'll see, but nothing of significance thereafter. So quite old day on the news front. So, as I said, if it breaks this trend line, really it's maybe on for the lows of yesterday, maybe that S1, certainly maybe that one-to-one movement. It may just give it some support, but we'll see. If it pushes on upwards, well, look for the yesterday's highs. The pound has come out a bit on the pound. The pound, well, it ran into its daily 50 yesterday. We got a small short off it, which gave us a few bob, but not much of a movement on a daily basis here. It's still a bit of a reversal bar there, a bit of a hanging man looking bar. It's, to me, it's the way it's consolidating. There is the potential it could still shove on further, but if it breaks the lows on here from yesterday, well, that's again, it may be a signal for further downside. Now, when we look on the daily pivot here, it's just all over its daily pivot at the moment. Has got the 50 below, which may be a bit of a draw, and that may just draw it back towards yesterday's that sort of period of lows. Maybe even the S1 may get pitched in with yesterday's lows. A break of that may give us a more significant move, but you can see how pinched these pivots are at the moment, and it just really shows what a bit of a choppy day it ended up yesterday. It looked like it was even going to run down towards its pivot at one stage. Never quite made it, but we'll see how it runs today. At the moment, it's a very indecisive pairing for my liking. Too indecisive even. Let's look at the dollar yen then. Dollar yen. Well, it fully reversed yesterday. Again, not quite a key reversal. Didn't pitch out the highs there, but certainly a bearish looking bar for now. this was suggesting with the others moving down as well, that there's sort of those risk off, and the money was running back towards the dollar and the yen. Now, how it sits at the moment, well, it's consolidated and we're not seeing very much move through the Asian session here. It did close down pretty low, almost back down towards that weekly pivot. Let me just pull this back a little bit more, and you just sort of look at this hourly. Now we're sort of between a rock and a hard place here with this, because got choices. Is it going to run down to the weekly, or is it up to the daily, or is it just going to consolidate here further? But there's certainly the possibility of one that's being hit today, but which one is another matter. The way this has been moving, you would expect almost a continuation down here, but it really depends on where the money's going in terms of risk, and that you might as well throw a coin for me at the moment. Right, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar followed, as I said yesterday, it looks bearish. It is bearish, and it's continued being bearish, rolling over further, but it's not an easy one in some respects. You just expect it just to be a bit trendy. It did break out at sort of 4 o'clock last night. It sold off on the 4 o'clock candle. It sat there all day yesterday, consolidated, not tradable really, and we see this so often. It just sits in periods of no significant movement, and then you get a decent bar, and then that's it again. So swing wise, it's great. If you're sitting in there, it really doesn't matter too much to you whether it's consolidating for a whole day or whatever else and then moving at the end of it, because you're in the swing. But there could be more weakness, as what we're seeing here. It could just continue for now, but nothing of significance for me from an intraday point of view. Canadian dollar. Was looking to see if this was going to roll over some more. I talked about it yesterday, that daily 200. It's pretty close, but what with the news afterwards, it's pitched it upwards and left it a little bit on the softer side at the moment. In fact, it looks bullish on everything but the dailies here really. This daily's still got lower highs, lower lows running through it, but 60-minute sort of picture, it's much more bullish looking. There's a 4 hourly still, as I say, really it may have pitched through those lows, those prior highs rather. Let's just have a draw of the trend line on those if I can. It's not going to give me a trend line, would be nice, thank you. It's not quite through there, is it? Not quite through there into a bullish zone on the 4 hourlies, but certainly 60 minutes it's pitched up higher. It's higher lows, higher highs, consolidation all the way through that phase. Mainly that news that pitched it up there, but it has pushed through the Asian session here once again, and may look to push higher. Let's just have a quick. Oil was pushing up yesterday, but just did a reversal as soon as I liked the look of the Canadian dollar. Let's have a look where it's sitting at the moment. If it will, yeah. It late rallied in the daytime there, but not really having a knock-on effect on the Canadian dollar for sure. But it's still sitting up that $70 mark at the moment. I was looking at it the other day. It looks quite bearish, but that's changed the tune and it's broken out here and looks like we may have a bit more upside in oil. Anyway, it's enough on oil. Didn't really want to cover all that. Let's call it a day. Have a great one. I'll speak to you Monday. Bye for now.